recording access. If not, just let me know. And with that, we will open up the floor to questions.
Hey, Coach. Josh from the Riot Report. I guess just starting out in week one, what do you attribute that the lack of sacks and the lack of QB hits to, and how do you intend to fix it for week two?
One of the hardest things, we were in third down 12 times. 8 of them were 4 or less yards. And, a lot of times when you hit the quarterback, it's on third down and a definite passing down. So, those situations when we had 5 third and 1 to 2s. So you're in different defenses. And then the other thing that hurt our pass rush, it was 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5 consistently. So, those things, you're not really in pass rush defenses because of those down and distances. So I think the thing that really affected our pass rush was our productivity on first down. It wasn't good enough. We've got to get people in second and long, and so we get in pass rush modes along with third and long. So I think that was part of our problem. And then when we did get some one-on-ones, we didn't win enough of them. So, we're addressing that, and hopefully we're much improved this week.
Hey, Phil, Scott Callan here with Sports Illustrated. Tampa Bay's got really a trio of really good tight ends. Yep. What do you see that they bring the biggest challenges, and how do you guys hope to try and slow them down?
Well, we played 3 pretty good tight ends last week too, and this league's full of good tight ends. So I think every week you're going to have those issues, but we could see 3 at a time in there. But they all have their own set of skills. You got the old veteran in Gronkowski, and then you have, the other guys can run pretty well and move. So, we'll have our hands full with those 3 guys. But, fortunately, we have some guys that match up decently against tight ends. So, but we'll see 3 tight end groups.
Phil, that's Miles Simmons. How do you start to generate turnovers? Said not getting any last week.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons for not getting turnovers, but I think our productivity on first down led to us not being able to create turnovers. So we've got be maybe a little bit more aggressive on first down and see if we can't create some things.
Hey Phil, Jason Huber with WFNZ. How surprised were you with Rasul Douglas's play, and how much do you is he going to be a part of this defense now?
Well, based on how he handled himself during the course of the week, it really didn't surprise me. Matter of fact, he came up during the game and said, "Coach, tell the guys to leave me alone. I know what I'm doing." I started laughing. So, he's played a lot in the league, and, he acts like a pro, and he understands football. And so, he was a pleasure to watch on Sunday.
Coach Elena Getzenberg with the Charlotte Observer. I was curious now, looks like Dante's going to be healthy for Sunday. Just how do you see that cornerback position kind of sorting itself out with the 3 of them?
Well, that they're going to run a lot of 11 personnel, which is 3 wide receivers and a tight end and a back. So we'll utilize the 3 corners. I mean, I think they'll all play about the same, and we'll rotate them through. So, I think everybody in the league plays 3 corners and plays them quite a bit. So, that's just kind of how we play.
And I guess just going off that, what did you see from Troy Pride on Sunday? What stood out to you?
Well, I thought he did a good job. He went out there and competed hard. All rookie corners, it's tough to play as a rookie in this league, but especially at corner. And so, I thought he held up fine. He'll get better every week.
Hi, Coach. Bash Ty Hurt with Carolina Blitz. Jeremy Chin impressed a lot of people this past Sunday. Just wanted to know your thoughts on the game that he played and how he looked as a rookie out there.
You know what? We ask a lot of Jeremy, and he did play well and can play a lot better, and he knows that from a leverage standpoint and just based on the defense. But he'll get better every week, and he likes to play. He's got a lot of energy, and he plays fast. So he'll just get better every week.
Hey Phil, Jonathan Alexander, Charlotte Observer. I hope you're doing well. First, I wanted to see if I could clarify. When you said the 3 corners, you mean Douglas, Pride, and Jackson, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And also, what do you think Douglas adds? To the team. What are his best attributes?
Well, he's really a good sized corner. So, which this week is important. We're playing the big wideout. So that's important. You have somebody match up with the big guys. And then I think he's got a real good feel for football. When you watch him play in zone and man, he's just really aware and knows how to play. And, he's played quite a bit in this league. So, we're not dealing with a young guy.
Hey, Phil. Phil over from Channel 9. Derek Brown was disruptive a couple times in the passing lanes in terms of batting passes down. Is that an instinct thing, or is that like a discipline thing in the scheme? Where does that come from? Because he did it in college as well.
Well, when you're inside and you can really push the pocket, he's not really a finesse pass rusher. He's a power rusher, which means you'll push that pocket into the quarterback, which allows you, if you put your hand up, you're going to be in the throwing lanes and you can knock balls down. So I think that's one of the reasons he's knocked so many balls down in his football career.
Hey, Coach, other defensive coordinators or defensive coaches, they tend to have like goals for each game, whether it's 2 turnovers, less than 100 yards rushing, whatever. Do you guys have those defensive goals that you go every game, or does it change game to game?
Really what you try to do is limit their whatever they do well, you're trying to not allow them to do that. And, if you look back at the last game, our priority was the tailback, and he ended up with 3.7 yards per carry, which normally that's pretty good, Jacobs. Waller, the tight end, we wanted to control him. He had 45 yards in receptions. And then number 13, the wideout that catches a lot of balls inside. We wanted to control him, and he had 2 catches for 20 yards. So, based on those statistics, you'd think we'd play better than the 34 points that we gave up. So, we've got to shore up some other things and win on first down, and I think we'll start playing better.
Phil, we had Whitehead on here a little bit ago. He was talking about having played Brady in New England when the crowd quiets down and Brady's hearing what the defense is doing in the chess match. Do you concern yourself at all, and what do you do defensive signal-wise going against him in an empty stadium? Yeah,
it's tough. Even last week you're getting the quarterbacks now checking a lot more, and because they can hear offensively, on the road, and so that's going to hurt all defenses at home. That's an advantage, the noise that we don't have right now. Plus, the quarterback can hear what you say, and Brady will hear all that stuff. So you got to be smart on what you say, but we can also hear what he says. So it goes both ways. But I think offensively right now, it's a big advantage. Obviously, at home, there's no noise, but on the road, offensively, it's a big advantage right now because of the lack of crowd noise.
Coach.
I'm sorry, couldn't hear you.
Sorry, Scott Fowler from the Charlotte Observer. To ask you a little bit more about Brady, I just wondered what you thought after studying him closely on film as to whether he still, quote, got it. And I wonder if you also could tell us your best Tom Brady story.
Well, I'll tell you afterwards whether he's got it or not, right? You don't know. But when I was with the Lions, we played in Foxborough. We were up by 10 with 6 minutes to go, and they got the ball twice in the last 6 minutes. Never had to play over 10 yards, and they ended up beating us. He just has the ability to move the chains and always has. He's so intelligent out there, knows what you're in, takes what you give him, and executes. And that's who, Brady is. And I don't think that's changed. So, it'll be interesting, and that was in about 2006, 7, and 8. We played him a couple times. So, I'm sure he doesn't move quite as well as he did back then. Everybody, heck, he's 43 years old now. But he's as smart as he's ever been, and he can still throw the ball when he needs to.
Coach, I was wondering, you've got a couple of injuries on the defensive line. Just how do you kind of see that group shaping out if you have to be without Yetur and possibly KK as well on Sunday?
Injuries are part of the game. So, we try to rep our twos a lot. And so if you have to go in and play, we expect you to play at a certain standard. So, and it's just part of the game. And it happens. And if those two are down, like Kerr will go in and play real well for KK. So that, that's what we expect. And Marquise Haynes will get more reps and he'll play well at end. So that's part of the game.
Phil, getting back to Tom, did you see him getting more comfortable as that game went on week one, being more comfortable with his weapons? And do you anticipate them being maybe a bit more in sync than they were week one?
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, they're real similar to us as far as an offensive standpoint, is that whole group came together new. There's a lot of players new on there with the quarterback. And so, they'll be a lot better this week than they were last week. And New Orleans is good on defense too. So give New Orleans some credit. They did some nice things and they have good players on defense. So, they'll be much better and they'll be at home too. So.
When there's a I hesitate to use the term thunder and lightning running back duo like they have in Tampa with Fournette and Jones. Is that something that you try to communicate to your defense, but like while they're in the huddle of like, hey, this guy's in, keep an eye out for that? Or do you prepare for that during the week and then kind of let it flow during the game?
Yeah, we prepare for it. And, don't forget Shady McCoy now. He's a good player too now. They have 3 backs that are really good football players. So, they all have different assets. So, and we know what they are. So, our players are aware of that.
Coach, going back to this past game, I was curious, we heard about the communication issues on defense. I guess just from your perspective, can you just walk us through that and what you're doing to kind of make sure that doesn't happen again?
Some of it was technical. Some of it was being new with each other in the setting that we were in. So we've worked on it and we'll go right through that. So, on to the next game. And I think we'll be much improved in those areas.
Phil, will Shaq still be the guy with the earpiece?
Yeah, Shaq will still, Shaq plays both, most of the game and he's in there in nickel. So he needs to wear it.
Phil, kind of talking about some of the other guys on that defensive line. Bravion Roy's a guy you've obviously known for a while now. Where do you think he is in his maturation process, and how do you think he performed in week one and where he could possibly go?
I thought Bravion handled himself well in there. I mean, first pro football game, he was stout against the run. Obviously, the young guys have a harder time rushing the passer, with the veteran offensive lineman. The Raiders were good inside at center and guard. So, but he'll get better every week rushing. But I thought he held his own. He'll get better every week.
Well, it's you guys went to the 3-man front toward the end of the game. Is that just kind of a nice changeup that you have to throw in there? And how much flexibility does Brian Burns give you with being able to drop back like that?
Yeah, it gives us a lot of flexibility, and we're trying to advance that system. But Brian gives us some flexibility along with Chen, so we're trying to utilize some of that. But we're also young in the system, so we're going through some growing pains with it. But I think as the year goes on, we'll get better and better with it.
What percentage of your scheme system do you think? Obviously, you have to kind of roundball it, but do you think that you guys have on the playbook right now for week 2?
Probably about 65%. And then we're cutting that back too. So it's just a process, and we'll keep advancing, and you really don't want to move on until you do what you're doing as well as you can. And we're still not at that point, but we're getting better every week.
When you say, just to follow up on that, when you say you're adding things every week, are the things like that 3-man front, the 3-3-5, kind of those like bag of tricks that are outside of the base scheme? Is that the additional stuff that you're adding in every week?
Yeah, I mean, there's bits and pieces even in all of it. And that 3-man, we call it, it's part of our base. We have it's a package that we use. And so, how much we use it is based on who we're playing and what they're doing. So, but yeah, we'll add to all of it as we go.
Phil, do you expect to have KK this week?
I don't know. I'm hoping to have him, but he's a veteran. He's been through a lot, and I'd be surprised if he didn't play.
One guy whose name we didn't hear called a lot on Sunday, but he was out there, was Justin Burris. Just your thoughts on how he played in week 1 and what his role is like right now.
You know, we matched him up with Waller, and I thought he did a great job against him. Really a nice job. You know, there's some other things I think he can really improve on, and he knows that. And so I think he'll just continue to get better and better. You know, he hasn't played safety that many years, really. A couple of years. He's been, was a corner. So I think he'll get better and better every week.
Guys, have any more questions for Coach Snow? All right, Coach, we appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
All right, guys.